Good evening, Deja. The town of Thurston, about 20 minutes south of Bath, is considering a law to ban sewage sludge from being spread on farmland. State officials say the sludge, or biosolids, that come from treated wastewater is rich in nutrients that can fertilize crops. But the town supervisor says new worries over so-called forever chemicals found in sewage are adding to years of concerns. In a letter sent Friday to the New York State Department of Agriculture, Town of Thurston Supervisor Michael Volino said, "We are considering adopting a ban on sewage sludge spreading to protect the health and safety of town residents. The town wishes to establish stricter standards than the standards established by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, because we do not believe that DEC standards are sufficient to protect the town residents and the environment from the harms caused by sewage sludge spreading. Recent disclosures about the ubiquitous presence of PFAS in sewage sludge have heightened local concerns."
In relationship to the slurry spread, it's a groundwater issue, and a groundwater issue extends well beyond the perimeters of Bath.
What are you going to do? Buy water for the rest of your life, bottled water? The PFAS are in the plastic in the bottled water. Wake up, people.
The Food and Drug Administration says PFAS were introduced in the 1940s. They're known as forever chemicals because of the long time they take to break down. PFAS were used to make everything from nonstick pans to water-resistant fabrics and cleaning products. Some PFAS are still allowed today in limited amounts in cookware, food packaging, and food processing equipment. The FDA says widespread use of PFAS has led to, quote, increasing levels of contamination of the air, water, and soil. The FDA says while the science surrounding potential health effects of bioaccumulation is developing, exposure to some types of PFAS have been associated with serious health effects. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says scientific studies have shown that exposure to certain levels of PFAS may lead to increased risk of some cancers, reproductive effects, and other health effects. Supervisor Volino says PFAS were detected in recent tests of private drinking wells near Thurston. Casella Waste Systems says it bought the sludge facility in July of 2022. In a letter to the Department of Agriculture, Casella Division Manager Mary Rajewski said the continued operation of the facility is now being threatened by a newly proposed local law which bans land application of such biosolids from state-permitted facilities. Casella says a local farm has depended on biosolids to grow crops since the 1960s due to a lack of manure after it sold off all of its livestock. Casella says spreading sewage sludge on land is a, quote, approved practice that's supported by the Department of Environmental Conservation. The DEC says it currently has an interim strategy for the control of PFAS until the EPA issues new standards. The EPA says those standards won't be ready until December of 2024 or later. Now, at a town board meeting 2 weeks ago, members voted 5-0 in favor of a draft of local law number 3. That's the one that would ban sewage sludge facilities in the town of Thurston. Now, the town supervisor says a public meeting will be held this Monday at 6 p.m. at Thurston Town Hall so people can weigh in. I also reached out to Casella, Town Supervisor Volino, the DEC, and the Department of Agriculture, but I did not hear back. We did post more information on our website, mytwintiers.com. Deja.